welcome you to the Valero Alamo Bowl tonight. Oklahoma State and Arizona in a Big 12 Pac-10 matchup. Seen from the Riverwalk in San Antonio, we are set to go. Arizona won the toss, they've deferred. Oklahoma State will receive. John Bonanno set to get us underway in the 18th Valero Alamo Bowl. That will be Justin Gilbert, the freshman. Gilbert has 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown this year, but the freshman is stopped just short of the 25-yard line. And we're underway in San Antonio, and delighted that you could join us. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer here, Jen Brown down on the field. And guys, we're expecting to see plenty of points tonight. It's been a record-setting year on offense for Oklahoma State under first-year offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen. They have a 3-headed monster with quarterback Brandon Whedon, running back Kendall Hunter, and wide receiver Justin Blackman. They stretch the field horizontally, vertically. It's going to be tough to stop. Yeah, a lot of pressure on this Arizona defense to find a way to get them off the field a few times during this game. You're not going to stop this Oklahoma State offense. Play fake. Brandon Whedon, the quarterback, fires high, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Josh Cooper. Now the first pass of the night from Brandon Whedon is incomplete. Here is Whedon, a 27-year-old former baseball player who's thrown for over 4,000 yards. And it's remarkable to consider that his only meaningful experience heading into this season was 1/2 last year against Colorado. He's learned on the job, and he's been great this year. Second pass is right on the money. Bo Bowling with the catch. He gets out across the 30-yard line. Bo will be a little over a yard short of the first down. And I think as you've watched this offense evolve with Dana Holgorsen, the pace by which this offense goes is tremendous. They are fast-paced, and the more that Whedon was able to handle of that pace, the better the offense came. I mean, so this has been a tremendous offense this season, week in and week out. Actually, they gave Bowling just enough for the first down, so it was a pickup of 10 rather than 9 as they adjusted the spot. And now Oklahoma State gives it to Kendall Hunter. Hunter, who ran for over 1,500 yards this season, is knocked down by Brooks Reed. Mike Gundy, the former Oklahoma State quarterback, is a head coach at his alma mater. Gundy now working in his 6th year, 46-29 record, had his team just a win away from the Big 12 championship game, a heartbreaking loss in the season's final regular season day to Oklahoma. The Pokes going for their school record 11th win tonight. The short pass is completed to Kendall Hunter out of the backfield, and he is snowed under, first hit by Paul Vassallo of Arizona. This is an Arizona defense that was very beat up late in the regular season, but they've had 3 weeks to get healthy, and they're looking like it right now. They're flying around, Craig. This group here, we did their last game with Arizona State, and it was a rivalry game, a heartbreaking loss, a couple of missed extra points cost them that game. So far, they look like they've got the energy that I was looking for in this one. Pressure coming. Justin Blackman, the Biletnikoff winner, with his first catch of the night. Shaquille Richardson knocked him down. And you know what you're going to see is an Arizona defense that's able to hug up on these wide receivers. If you don't hug them close underneath like they're doing right here, you're going to get beaten. It's going to be a long night. That catch was not enough for a first down, but the 8-yard catch was enough to give Blackman the NCAA record for receiving yards by a sophomore. Dan Bailey will be punting for the first time in his collegiate career. The All-American punter Quinn Sharp, academically ineligible for this game, bugged right, had it go right through him, and there were Cowboys everywhere to pounce on it. They held it, and Oklahoma State has the first break of the game. Andrew Suter, the long snapper, was down there to recover Snuder in the lineup because the normal long snapper, Mark Yerry's academically ineligible. Bug Wright was a player that was suspended for the final 2 games of the regular season. There was some concern coming into tonight with him back receiving punts because he hadn't done it in a long, long time. You saw his head look downfield, right? He was trying to see where the coverage was coming from, and that's just a lack of consistent time back there, and they got him. So 1st and 10 for Whedon, underneath to Cooper. Cooper's knocked down at the 21-yard line, and you know Wright probably taking that muff even harder. He's a native of the state of Oklahoma, grew up wanting to play for the Cowboys, and said he intended tonight to show Oklahoma State what it missed when he wound up in Tucson.
And again, this is the first game that Arizona's ever played inside in a dome stadium, and the balls do come down differently for receivers.
Little pitch on the inside. That's Tracy Moore. And Moore is close to a first down in the red zone. Jake Fisher there to stop it.
And how about if you're Arizona defensively, you're able to stop Oklahoma State early, one of the most prolific offenses in the country, get them off the field. Now you're right back on. You don't have all the wind you want. You're a little tired. You got your backs to the wall.
Oklahoma State, the best red zone team in the country. They've scored nearly 95% of the time. Whedon, oh, a big hit on Bowling as he got drilled by Robert Golden.
Robert Golden was a safety last year who they've converted to cornerback, and you can see that physicality, Craig, how he comes up and makes a hit.
And I also see, Jesse, the familiarity of the offense. You saw how the corner and the safety worked together there, knowing where the play was going. Arizona's offense goes against this defense in spring training, so they have to understand how to play with that spread offense.
Second down and 10. Blackman. Blackman dragged out of bounds by a foot by Golden, or he would have scored.
That's like to be one-on-one in the open field with a guy who just won the Blitnikoff Award.
That's the beauty of these spread offenses. They get the football into the hands of their playmakers on the perimeter of the field in one-on-one situations. If you cannot tackle in space, you do not stand a chance against Oklahoma State.
Three-back set that Dana Holgerson, the offensive coordinator, has used, and this is Jeremy Smith. Smith punching it down close to the 5-yard line. He's knocked down by Vassallo again. Vassallo, the leading tackler for the Wildcat defense.
You know, the one noticeable difference with Dana Holgerson here and this offense versus where his previous stop was at University of Houston, they'll run the ball about 48% of the time, he says. So at Houston, they were 33% of the time. When you've got the runners they have like they have at Oklahoma State, it really puts the pressure on defenses.
That run was enough for the first down, first and goal for the Cowboys. Smith has it again. Looking for the pylon. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. Only 2 times this season at Oklahoma State taking an opening drive for a touchdown, and they didn't do it this time, and they took advantage of the muff punt and turned it into 6 points.
All right, it's the pistol with the back set off to each side, so there's balance there. You don't know which side the ball's going to. The same effect of a pistol offense.
3 running backs. It was an inverted wishbone look by Oklahoma State.
Here's the Lou Groza Award winner, Dan Bailey, for the extra point. He knocks it through, 66 of 67. Missed only 1 this year. It's enough to give the Cowboys the early lead. Oklahoma State with his 31st takeaway of the season. He came into the night 4th in the country in takeaways, and Smith made sure that it turned into points. Pokes up early. About to kick off, Smith is a running back that they're very high on. Of course, Kendall Hunter playing his last game as a Cowboy tonight, and there is Wright, the Oklahoma native, who is a dangerous return man, but had the first punt of the evening go through him, and as a result, Cowboys turned it into points. Now to kick off for the first time is Dan Bailey. This is a little bit different for Oklahoma State. Quinn Sharp, also the punter, the normal kickoff man, led the nation in touchbacks. This one will be returned by Travis Cobb. Travis Cobb has running room, only Bailey in front. Slowed him up just enough, and Oklahoma State corrals him, but not before Travis Cobb takes it inside the 35-yard line. Justin Gilbert there to help out. 64 yards on the return.
Now, you can't blame this on the kicker because the hang time was outstanding. This is all about a lack of coverage and or good blocking up front and explosive legs.
Well, what a difference not having Quinn Sharp, an All-American punter who, like Reese said, led the nation with 53 touchbacks. Field position has been an advantage for Oklahoma State all year long. Here's Arizona starting inside the 35.
That is where Nick Foles, the Texas native who's played 3 games in high school in this building. The pitch to Keoa Antolin. Antolin trying to get the corner. Markel Martin is there to stop him. Nick Foles, despite all the attention, and rightfully so, given to Andrew Luck and Darren Thomas, it was Nick Foles who led the Pac-10 in passing yards.
And I think in this particular game, they can't afford 3 and outs. We've already seen their defense put with their back to the wall. I think the pressure's on Foles to match score for score.
There's a lot of pressure on co-offensive coordinators Bill Biedenbaugh and Seth Luttrell, because field goals won't beat a team averaging 45 points a game.
Not quite on target. First catch by Terrence Miller. They're going to lose a yard on it as we check in with Jen Brown.
I talked to Mike Stoops before the game about the mindset of his team coming in, especially after those 4 straight losses to end the regular season. Now, he joked with me and he said, I hope it's a lot better than last season. Now, he's referencing their 33-0 loss to Nebraska in the Holiday Bowl. But in all seriousness, he said that he feels like his team's played really well in practice. They're much smoother, and he's ready, for this game, and they're ready to go. So we'll see how that carries over right now.
Foles steps up to avoid some heat. They're coming behind him, and Nick's going to get it inside the 30, but he's going to be short of the first down. Cooper Bassett there to make the stop for the post.
It's a tough decision here coming up for Mike Stoops. You know what? You don't want to give it back to Oklahoma State at any point in time, and would not disagree at all with going for this.
That, again, has to do something, I think, with playing against such an explosive offense in Oklahoma State. You're going to see a lot of times tonight 4-down territory for Arizona. They're going to risk it, try to stay in this football game.
There's also the question of the kicker Alex Deas' confidence after having 2 extra points blocked
you think?
against Arizona State.
Yeah.
Foles on 4th down. Fires a little bit low. He was looking for Jerron Kreiner, and Foles hasn't been right on target yet. And the Wildcats will turn it over on downs.
Arizona had Oklahoma State exactly in the defense they wanted, man-to-man, a better throw. Jerron Kreiner might score at that football.
Arizona said they had to make sure Oklahoma State didn't start fast. They need to stop when you come back.
In college football, the Valero Alamo Bowl is brought to you by Valero, the all-American gasoline, all across America. Hyundai, Holiday Savings Fuel official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
Well, anytime you go to a bowl, the organizers roll out the red carpet, and the fans from both teams have certainly had a great time seeing scenes from a pep rally earlier this week that hosted both fans. It's sponsored by a barbecue shack that Nick Foles has said he wanted to make sure his teammates got some of that barbecue and give them a little Texas flavor and to educate some of the guys about the Lone Star State. Brandon Weeden, Blackman is by himself. He'll take his time and score eventually. Touchdown, folks. 71 yards.
I'm not so sure Mike Goody's going to approve of the additional 50 yards running along the way there. But Robert Golden here, number 1. To come, and he's just going to miss. And he's thinking that there's a safety over the top to help. There's nobody back there. You cannot let a player with that kind of skills in Blackman get past you without having an interruption and or somebody on top.
Extra point is good, and that was Oklahoma State's 17th touchdown drive, if you want to call it that. 60 yards or longer. That one took 12 seconds.
You see how he squatted there? Golden just squatted like he had somebody over the top. Well, nobody's back there.
It was a double move by Justin Blackman, and that forced Golden to sit down and squat. He was able to get in behind him. That's now the 12th touchdown on the year for Justin Blackman of 20 or more yards. That leads the nation. And it's interesting, guys, when you talk about Dana Holgerson's offense and these spread offenses, it's not dink and dunk and screens anymore. He's done a very good job evolving, pushing the football downfield vertically, and that's made it so much more difficult for defenses to defend.
I think the defense has forced this offense and for Dana to evolve into getting the ball vertical, because it got to a point to where this offense, when Dana used to run it, it played in a little box, and they didn't throw the ball vertical like we just saw there that often. Defenses were able to clamor up on receivers crossing the ball at the middle of the field, and it forced him to run the ball more and to evolve into throwing it deep.
You saw Holgorsen a moment ago on your screen. This is his last game as the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State. He's on his way to West Virginia, where he will call plays next year for the Mountaineers and be the head coach in waiting, and then take over for the 2012 season. Bailey's going to try a little pooch kick, and is fielded cleanly by Arizona and covered quickly by Oklahoma State. Ricky Elmore made the grab, so Arizona will have it for the second time tonight. Full throttle Capital One Bowl week. It continues on ESPN Friday. 3 games, first at noon. Plenty of defense. South
UCF. What do you think about that?
That'll be a good one to lead into South Carolina and Florida State. Old Steve Spurrier just can't get away from the Seminoles, it seems like. Nick Foles right on target to Teron Kreiner. Kreiner gets up near the 45-yard line.
Reese, you made the comment just a moment ago during the break that, Nick Foles may be feeling a little bit of the adrenaline. He's come back home. He's played in this stadium when he was in high school. He's been here before. And he's got family and friends around. He wants to play impressively. He's got to settle down and give catchable balls.
Good pickup on first, is 2nd and 2. Nick Grigsby, his first carry of the night, and Grigsby very close to the first down marker. Johnny Thomas on the stop.
We've seen Nick Foles now throw a couple balls low. And sometimes for a quarterback, that happens when you get a little bit front leg heavy. He's got to do a better job now in this game, sitting back on his back leg, driving off that leg so that ball comes up a little bit higher, hits his wide receivers in the numbers or the face mask.
We've talked about Oklahoma State's offense, this pass offense in the top 10 in the nation. Capable of putting up points quickly. Screen, Kreiner. Cannot make the first guy miss. That is Andrew McGee. McGee, an all Big 12 cornerback, had 5 interceptions on the year and a sure tackle in the open field.
You know what? These teams, both of them, are taught on the corners and at safety to see the screen and to get to the football. There's a lot of speed that's getting to those receivers.
McGee, a great story, broke his neck against Oklahoma last season. And for him to be able to rehab, come back, and play at the level he's played all conference, that's an incredible story.
Foles wanting to take a shot. Everything's covered up. Antolin out of the backfield, and now Antolin gets drilled by Markel Martin, but Martin's going to get flagged for leading with his head. Antolin is still on the ground after taking the shot from Martin, who is the enforcer in that Oklahoma State secondary. He's notorious for delivering hits in which he's broken some face mask, and that time perhaps went in a little too aggressively, at least in terms of leading with his head.
Yeah, it's a defenseless player there when the receiver turns around and you lead with that head, and you can see that it's obviously an area of concern that they've learned more about concussions nowadays, and they're trying to protect these defenseless players.
It was a nice job by Nick Foles buying time. He had nobody downfield.
Personal foul, number 10, unnecessary roughness on the defense. The penalty is 15 yards, automatic first down.
Nick Foles was sort of forced to float this football out to the sideline. He wants to go downfield to Kreiner. It's not there. He rolls to his left. He kind of has to float that ball over, and that allows Markel Martin to close the gap. You see him lower the head. You always hear defensive coaches talking about see what you hit, keeping your head up, and that time it looked like Martin put his head down a little bit.
Jesse, it's a tough deal because you're a defensive guy and you're coming up and you're full speed and the receiver's there. He's waiting. He turns into you. It's making defenders really rethink how they approach when they're coming full tilt.
No one wants to take the aggressiveness out of the game, and I think that one was a proper call by David Smith and his Conference USA crew. So Nick Grigsby checks in to spell Antolin. Foles to Kreiner. Kreiner is knocked down quickly by McGee.
Kind of one of the challenges within the game for Arizona is their all-star center, Colin Baxter, not playing, and they're going with a backup center, Kyle Quinn, tonight, number 76. Been watching him so far, doing a heck of a job, but that's such an important piece to an offense. Watch Quinn tonight, see how he does.
Baxter had started 48 consecutive games. Kreiner with another catch. And we chased out of bounds at the 25. It'll be enough for a first down. Johnny Thomas on the coverage.
I like the play calling right now from co-offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell, going to the quick game, getting the football out of Nick Foles' hands early so that Kyle Quinn at center can get established a little bit, not put too much pressure on him.
Foles to a wide open receiver in the middle. It's David Douglas, and Douglas is in the red zone. It'll be first and goal for the Wildcats.
The thing that strikes me on this is Nick Foles stepping up into the pocket, buying time, and keeping his eyes down the field. See, he avoids this. He steps up and waits and sees his check down receiver there in the middle there. It's just beautiful execution.
How about David Douglas? That's Nick Foles' roommate. Played his first 2 seasons out wide. They moved him into the slot this year, doing a nice job finding the soft spot of his zone.
He's also a Texas native back home, going to perform well. Foles firing to the back of the end zone. It's incomplete, and this is probably a good time to bring up, despite the prolific passing numbers that Arizona has put up, and despite the fact that they've scored some points, they're 110th in the country in red zone offense.
This is a throw Nick Foles will want to get back. He has his fullback Tommy Totogi wide open in the flat. He kind of hesitated, and it was too late. That forced him to throw that football away. These windows get very small and constricted down here in the red zone.
Well, that's why, Reese, what you're talking about, they're only 75% inside the red zone. One of the worst teams in the country there, not taking the little 2- and 3-yard gain like Justin just showed you.
Foles to Kreiner. Duran goes up, and this time they'll score it. What a catch by Kreiner, and the Cats are on the board. We mentioned the last time we saw him against Arizona State, had a couple of these blocked. This time, good height, got it out of there quickly, and Arizona has answered the quick strike from Wheaton. 3 touchdowns. That's the kind of offense you expect the holiday season from the Valero Alamo Bowl. The latest touchdown coming from Arizona's Duran Kreiner, which tied the school record for season touchdown catches. Mike Thomas and T. Bell, the former Steeler, holding that record along with Kreiner. Now, Justin Blackmon has been rewriting the record book even tonight. 19 touchdown catches. Receiving yards also in a season of 1752. And he's just 2 catches away from matching Rashawn Woods on 107 catches. Blackmon winning the Biletnikoff Trophy as the nation's best receiver, and he's put up unbelievable numbers. And Arizona will kick it away. This is Gilbert. They'll run the reverse. Joseph Randall. And he gets it out across the 45-yard line, or 35, excuse me, up to about the 37-yard line. That's where Oklahoma State will have it back. Let's take a look at our Amway positive performance.
Now, this would be Justin Blackmon. Here, just get him the football, right? He's already started out hot and strong. Kendall Hunter, the great running back, only has 1 carry because of plays like Blackmon making right here. 1 and done.
But Kendall Hunter's running set up this play action opportunity for Blackmon downfield. You see why he's the Biletnikoff Award winner as the nation's outstanding wide receiver.
First and 10 for the Cowboys. Brandon Wheaton hit it right on Josh Cooper, and Cooper ruling it incomplete. Josh was ready to take off with it, but didn't quite have that ball corralled.
It's amazing watching Brandon Wheaton throw the football. He's so natural. He's such a natural passer of the football. No wonder this guy was a pitcher in the New York Yankees organization. Big, strong, accurate. He's got it all.
And keep it on the ground with Hunter, and it'll bring up 3rd and long. Now, Wheaton in the 2002 baseball draft was the first draft pick of the New York Yankees. It was in the 2nd round, but their first pick. Spent some time in the minors. 19 and 26, and ERA was a little bit over 5, but he had the big fastball. He went through 7 2/3 no-hitters and was an all-star in the New York Penn League. But after wrapping up his baseball career, His wife, Melanie, thought that he was just going to get his degree and go to work. And he said, hey, how about if I play a little college football? And it's worked out beautifully. But this time, Brandon throws it into a world of traffic. Joe Perkins was back there. It'll be 4th down, and Oklahoma State will have to punt it away.
You know what, just to finish up for a moment on Whedon, I think we saw him really come of age in that Texas A&M game. The first half, he was not good. They were struggling. The second half, he came out was a completely different quarterback.
He's going to have to be bright tonight because Tim Kish, the defensive coordinator for Arizona, doing a nice job so far mixing up coverages.
Dan Bailey punting it away. It's a nice spiral. Douglas and a big catch on the touchdown drive. A sure-handed punt return man. Doesn't get much yardage. I think he's going to mark him just across his own 20-yard line. Now, this is the way the season went for Arizona. They started quickly. Started off 7-1, ranked as high as 15th in the nation, but then came the tough part of the schedule. Stanford destroyed them. Stephon Taylor, 4 touchdowns on the ground. USC ran for over 200 yards and beat them. A trip to Autzen Stadium didn't go any better. And then an opportunity to win the rivalry game, Territorial Cup, that we saw. A couple of block points cost them in double overtime, and as a result, Arizona now hasn't won a game since October.
Take a look at this here real quick. I mean, 3 games or less, and they were beating Oregon at halftime. They're not far off.
Foles fires for Douglas, and this time Douglas can't hang on.
But that Arizona State loss really, so much emphasis that the team placed on that, and Mike Stoops and those guys, and to lose with blocked extra points, that's just hard to swallow.
But to their credit, and talking to a lot of their players, it seemed to me like a lot of these guys got over it a lot faster than I think we would have assumed. He gave the team 3 days away. They regrouped, came back, and he says they've had the best bowl preparation the last 3 weeks they've had since he's been here.
Grigsby. Plenty of running room. And Nick has a first down up across the 30-yard line. Ori Lemon cuts him down. You know, Mike Stoops is trying to get that team to the next level, and building a solid running game is certainly helping.
You know, right now, Oklahoma State on this play, they just lost leverage inside out. Receiver came in and sealed it. And if you let Grigsby get a little running space, he's going to find it, and he'll run past your arms.
Grigsby's the guy second in Arizona history with 28 rushing touchdowns. He's been plagued by injuries this year and hasn't had the type of senior season he had hoped, but he can finish it off on a high note tonight. Ori Lemon, who is 3rd in the nation in solo tackles, has one, greeting Grigsby.
Nick Grigsby is going to be huge tonight for Arizona. Here's a guy, Craig, you mentioned is explosive, had a high ankle sprain against UCLA. In the last 4 games of the season, only averaged 2.5 yards. This offense is completely different when he's close to healthy, and this coaching staff hopes that he's close to 100% tonight.
Yeah, they put him in the 3rd series. That was their plan. They're going to try to go with one back. They want to find one guy, though, to get lathered up and get in a rhythm.
Foles almost intercepted by Markel Martin. Martin, who had the personal foul penalty earlier, came in and made the play on the throw from Foles.
That took a long time for Nick Foles to get through his progression. He had his receiver downfield open. I believe it was Dave Roberts in the slot. Not able to get that football out on time. That allowed Markel Martin to make a play on it and set up another 3rd and long.
Wildcats in the top 10 in the country in 3rd down conversions. But Foles not going to convert this one. Swarmed under. Hugo Chinasa, the senior from Richardson, Texas, was there first.
I think before the snap of the ball, look at the defensive line, how they're standing up. Now, for offensive linemen, they hate this because they don't know quite exactly what the stunts are going to be. It creates doubt.
Very interesting on that last defensive snap for Oklahoma State. Watch them double-team Jerron Kreiner down the field. They try to bracket him. They're not going to allow him to have easy open throws on big 3rd downs.
Keenan Pryor punted away. A high, short kick. Josh Cooper signals for the fair catch, and he makes it at his own 47-yard line. Well, Oklahoma State's had a splendid season. They ripped off their first 6 wins, ranked as high as 14th. Then came a showdown with Nebraska in Stillwater. Taylor Martinez threw for 5 touchdowns and more than 300 yards. The Huskers won at 51-41. Oklahoma State went to Austin and beat the Longhorns to end a 12-year losing streak, and in a remarkable shootout in Bedlam, Oklahoma won at 47-41 to keep the Cowboys from representing the Big 12 South in the Big 12 championship game. Cooper, a little shuffle pass on the inside, and Cooper gets into Arizona territory to about the 45-yard line.
You take a look at 2 losses for this offense. They scored 41 points against Nebraska, 495 yards of offense, 41 points against Oklahoma as well. It was not the offense's fault.
I think the game, though, for me, though, was watching them against Texas A&M somehow find a way to win that game, and then going to Lubbock where they'd not been successful and beating the Red Raiders. Those 2 games really gave them confidence.
Whedon finds Cooper, a short game, but enough to move the sticks. It'll be first down for Oklahoma State.
Mike Gundy told us heading into the year he thought his team could win 7 games if they played well. It was that Texas Tech game where they hadn't won since 1944. But he finally realized, you know what? You might be pretty good.
Yeah, they jumped out like 17-0 or something. They were like, and he's thinking to himself, we may be pretty darn good here.
Well, they were picked in the preseason by most to finish 5th or maybe even last in the Big 12 South. More than exceeded expectations. Joseph Randall is inside the 40. You know, another game that really helped this team was the Kansas State game in Manhattan. That came after the 1-game suspension for Justin Blackman. Blackman and some friends had decided to run down to the Dallas Cowboys New York Giants game, and on the way back, Blackman was stopped, and as a 20-year-old, he was arrested for driving under the influence. He bailed out, and Gundy suspended him for a game, and they won without him. And Blackman has it again. I saw a 71-yard touchdown from the Biletnikoff winner earlier tonight, but not much running room this time. But Blackman says he's learned from that mistake. But the upside to it from a football standpoint for Oklahoma State was Whedon started going to different receivers. They started trusting other guys, and it made them even more diverse on offense.
And part of what I think he learned and his teammates have learned, all athletes have learned, anyone who's in the public eye has learned, you can't get away with anything. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, cell phone cameras, you're going to get busted. Nothing is a secret.
Whedon on 3rd down, lofting it up for Bowling, and Bowling makes the catch. Inside the 25, it'll be another first down for the Cowboys.
Brandon Whedon does a great job understanding he's got man-to-man coverage, which means he's isolated in the slot. Look at the quickness of Bowling, able to get outside, get the hips turned around to the DB. Great catch and throw.
Let me tell you what I thought about the throw. He threw a moon ball. He had to leave it up in the air to allow the receiver to get there, to get open. That's just throwing him open.
This time a darn, it is well covered. He was looking for Blackman. It was Robert Golden knocking in the way.
You know, one of the challenges here for this Arizona defense tonight is they have one of their defensive linemen, Justin Washington, not playing. And so here's a team that studied Oklahoma's success against Oklahoma State the last ball game that used a 3-man defensive line. They were going to maybe use some of that. Without Washington, it handcuffs them.
Now the blitz coming. You're chasing Whedon, and Brandon throws it away. Jake Fisher on the coverage. This Arizona team, 14th in the nation in sacks coming in, but it's tough to get to the quarterback in this offense.
Because the ball comes out so quickly. This team has only given up 10 sacks in 491 pass attempts. So the defensive line tonight has been taught, get your hands up early, try to knock some balls down, because they do not expect to get to Brandon Whedon often.
3rd and 10. Whedon has to get rid of it. Very fortunate was Whedon that ball was not picked off by Anthony Wilcox, and that's a continuation of a theme that we saw against Arizona State. They had 6 balls in their hands. It could have been interceptions. The Wildcats couldn't hold.
The 3 of us in this booth are jumping up and down because we watched those 6 missed opportunities against Arizona State. At some point, Arizona's defense has to come up with a home run play like that.
But how about this defense? Normally we're used to seeing them get after the quarterback with only 4 players. The last 2 snaps have been big pressures. Nice job by Tim Kesh, the D coordinator.
And Bailey's the Lou Groza Award winner. He's 6 of 7 from 40 to 49 on the season, and now he's 7 out of 8. And Oklahoma State stretches its lead to 10. 17-7 Cowboys, and here are the dropped interceptions. Craig and Blackman running after he catches it. A 71-yard touchdown. There wasn't anybody close enough to keep it running after he caught it. So even without Quinn Sharp, the Groza winner, Dan Bailey, puts one into the end zone for a touchback. That's been the best weapon the Oklahoma State kickoff team has had this season. And with Sharp being out, having not passed the mandatory 6 hours in which to maintain his eligibility, Bailey comes in, knocked through a field goal, done a pretty good job punting, and gets himself a touchback.
Of his at Oklahoma State, when an opportunity comes up for the guy that's behind the starter to step in and play, his football team has met that challenge. They have stepped up. The next guy has done their job.
I think a lot of us wondered how Oklahoma State would respond to playing in the Alamo Bowl. They believe they should have been in the Big 12 title game playing against Nebraska. But here they are running around. They look like they're excited to be here.
This was certainly the last play of the first quarter, and it's a big play for the freshman All-American Sean Lewis. He makes a hit in the backfield, in Oklahoma State, a very productive first quarter in San Antonio, up by 10 on Arizona. 15th out of 120 in the country in pass defense. Has done a pretty good job through the first quarter. Foles slips it to Grigsby. And sure tackle once again by Sean Lewis.
You know, guys, it's interesting. We've talked to a lot of defensive coordinators this year, in particular Nick Aliotti at Oregon. Defensive coordinators that are more prone to take chances because their offenses score a lot of points. They like to blitz guys. Bill Young at Oklahoma State, not that kind of guy. He wants to play close to the vest, does not want to send a lot of guys in pressure. He likes to keep everything in front of him, not taking a lot of chances, even though his offense averages 45 points a game.
Foles on third down. He's got the first down. The conversion and the strike out to Richard Morrison. Morrison making his 14th catch of the season.
Well, again, you get the loose look on the defensive line. Only 3. They're standing up, 3 rush. You got 5 across the middle, and they realize it's third and long, and Bill Young's hoping to be able to cover up. And that particular time right there, Justin Gent, the linebacker, just did not take away that outside throw.
The Foles on first down goes for Kreiner, and it's another first down. He's wrestled out of bounds by Broderick Brown.
This is a very multiple offense for Arizona. They can spread you out, throw the football. They can also put 2 running backs in the backfield and try to beat you up at the point of attack. We've seen a little bit of both tonight from the Arizona Wildcats.
And I don't think they've been able to establish the run at all this season, really 135 a game, but they'd like to get a little more out of that.
Quick to Kreiner. Duran slips 1 tackle, and he's knocked out of bounds by Johnny Thomas.
And Nick Foles told us yesterday that this offense is at its best when they're up-tempo, forcing the defense to get lined up quickly. This is when he feels that this offense clicks the most.
And you know what? That's like a run right there. That's a big toss sweep, isn't it? But he threw a catchable ball, a ball that let his receiver get up the field in rhythm and on time.
Two tight ends now for the Cats. A little trickeration. Foles, the throwback special, and he's going to have to eat it. Rashedi Jones, the junior from Dallas, was back there as Foles tried to pull up the trick play.
In order for a flea flicker to work, and Craig, you know this, you really have to sell it. It's got to look like a run. And on this play, they handed it off and they pitched it back too soon. And if you watch the wide receivers downfield, Foles has the football back in his hands too early, and it does not fool the secondary.
Well, and usually you have a running game that has set that up. You've got the secondary peeking in the backfield. So I agree with you on that one.
And 5 yards rushing on the night. They've not quite established that pressure coming from the right side. Fired, intercepted by Martin. Nobody in front. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. A 61-yard pick six. The 17th interception of the season for Oklahoma State.
And there's a blitz off the corner. So and right away, Whedon's thinking, okay, here it comes. I know where the ball's going to go to. He just didn't have a strong enough arm to get there.
He throws the ball on time, but it's thrown behind a little bit. And what a game Markel Martin's having so far. He had a chance for an interception earlier in the first quarter, jumps on that and capitalizes. Wow.
So Bailey on for the extra point. 2 turnovers have turned into 2 touchdowns for Oklahoma State as Bailey misses for just the second time this season. Well, see, even the Gro's a winner. Every now and then will miss an extra point. 23-7 as Foles is picked off by Martin. 62 yards, he housed it, pokes up big early. Nice game track brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Folks got started with the freshman Jeremy Smith going in for his 7th touchdown of the season.
And then you get the home run ball, one play, big 71-yard strike to Justin Blackman, got behind the defense. You can't allow that to happen, and this has just been one of those deals. Now, I thought Nick Foles did a nice job of trying to get his team back in with this touchdown.
Arizona did a nice job coming back, control drive for the touchdown pass to Kreiner on this last drive. A good decision, a poor throw by Nick Foles turns into the 61-yard pick 6 by Markel Martin. And here we are, Oklahoma State up 23-7. We're barely into the second quarter.
We saw that big hat. There's another one. Oklahoma State's not all hat, no cattle. Not so far. Travis Cobb returned the kickoff. Took one back 100 yards against Iowa. Didn't quite do that here against Oklahoma State as we check in with Dari Noka in the studio.
Reese just...
This one a marquee matchup as well, and Arizona needs to get something going. They're going to run the reverse to Kreiner. They end around to be precise. That did 17th interception. Arnett's among the nation's leaders as well. Foles feeling some heat from the outside. Now throwing it to Kreiner, who was down the middle and could not hold it.
What Arizona?
Not an easy catch, but it was certainly one I think Jerron will tell you he should have made. Especially a receiver of his caliber, a flag flies. Arizona may get a break if they don't get a touchdown. Complete, great grab by Richard Morrison, and Foles put it right on the money. Cobb in the backfield is
the offside, so he gave his guy a chance.
Greg Nwoko is the 3rd running back used by Stoops and his offensive staff tonight, with both Antolin and Grigsby shaken up. Greg gets a short gain, his first carry of the night.
It's so hard to win in college football with parity like it is, and the misses that we just saw earlier. Then you talk about losing an offensive lineman. Well, this has been a good offensive line. It's just little things along the way that has kept this team from winning another 2 or 3 games.
Sustaining the performance is what Mike Stoops referred to it as. He said in segments this year they played very well, and as Jesse mentioned earlier, his team's not that far away from being a 10-win team. Nwoko, not much there. He's knocked down. King Jarko was first to hit him.
After losing their final 4 regular season games, it would have been very easy for Arizona to kind of crawl into this game with their tail between their legs. But give Nick Foles and these leaders of this Arizona team a lot of credit. They've done a good job over the 3 weeks of bowl season, keeping this team, their spirits up, getting them excited to play tonight.
Well, keep excited here on this drive here. It's 2-down territory. So pick up 4 or 5 yards. Make sure it's 4th and short at least.
Folks showing blitz, flags flying all over the place. Nick Grigsby's returned, trying to help out this Conference USA officiating crew. Pointing to him, sure it's on them. We're down 23-7. It needs to be on them, he says.
False start. Number 55 on the offense. That penalty is 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
They've got one-on-one at the top of the screen with Jerron Kreiner.
Foles was looking that way. Now directing traffic. Throws it into a crowd, and they're giving him the catch. It's David Douglas, roomie to roomie.
Scramble drill. Full rolls out to his right. Douglas does a great job with the sideline.
And the receiver Douglas knowing he's going to get hit from behind, but focusing on finishing the play.
Joining us. Arizona tries to atone for a slow start and this game into a slow finish to their regular season. Nick Grigsby, who was dinged up earlier, gets the carry, and he's just down to about the 26.
That running game to keep Oklahoma State away from pinning their ears back.
They're doing that. They pin their ears back enough to get the sack. Chris Donaldson pulls down Nick Foles.
Yeah, you know what? But that's more of a coverage sack than anything else. Foles just couldn't get anything done there. He steps up in the pocket, but you know, there's nowhere to go with the football and a lot of pressure. It's a very quick Oklahoma State defensive line.
Donaldson was working against right tackle Philip Garcia there, who comes into this game with a bit of a knee injury. Bill Young told us that they were going to try to take advantage with some stunts and some games up front against this beat-up Arizona offensive line, able to get to Nick Foles there.
Third sack of the night for the Cowboy defense. Foles gets rid of it, and it's picked off, intercepted by Johnny Thomas.
This is Foles sitting back. He sees an open receiver, but he has to now respect the speed and the makeup of that secondary at Oklahoma State. When the ball's in the air, Jesse, they're going for it.
I think we've seen Nick Foles hesitate a couple of times on throws now, and it's cost the Wildcats offense.
Foles with his second interception of the night. He was trying to get it to Dave Roberts. Thomas picks it off, and the Cowboys stop the threat. Tonight, first time this season he's thrown more than one interception in a game. Oklahoma State, as a result, has the ball on its own 2. Kendall Hunter from his end zone. Hunter, there's a flag down in the end zone as Hunter explodes into the secondary and gets out to about the 35-yard line. But let's check and see what the flag is. I believe we're going to
Illegal shift, number 24 on the offense. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Let's see if we can pick it up. No, there it is. He's still going forward at the snap.
But that name, Kendall Hunter, you have not called much tonight. Only a couple of carries. 2 yards, minus 2 yards. It shows him on the stats board. And that guy is explosive. He can take it to the house every time he touches the ball. Great player.
Over 1,500 yards on the season. This time Whedon fakes it to him, and he's pitching it deep. Blackman's out there. Dustin Blackman had it in his hands, and he dropped it.
This is a great play call by Dana Holgorsen. Oftentimes when you're deep pinned back in your own end, you get man-to-man coverage on the outside. It looks like Robert Golden actually tugged on Justin Blackman's jersey a little bit.
They have a flag.
No, we do have the flag down across the way. I didn't see it.
That right there, yesterday when we met with Whedon and we talked with Blackman, and they talked about coming back, whether or not they'd come back for next season. These two guys love playing with each other, and that kind of confidence they have in each other, it shows right there on that play. I'm going to put it up there. My guy Blackman's going to be better than your guy covering me, and I'm going to catch the football.
That's the second time tonight we've seen Brandon Whedon put a deep ball on the money. Dana Holgorsen told us he's the best deep ball thrower I've ever seen.
I want to explain to you, though, what I think also in just a moment on the next play here about what helps make him a great deep ball thrower.
And the penalty, by the way, was defensive holding, so it's 10 yards, and it's out to the 11-yard line. First down for Oklahoma State. Hunter, play fake. Whedon going to try it again. Blackman's out there again. This time he overshot it.
What made...
Second down and 10. This time they give it to Hunter.
I gotta say, I'm impressed.
Well, they need to get off the field here. 3rd and 9, underneath to Blackman. Justin trying to get away. He's knocked down by Trevin Wade.
Like Oklahoma State.
Bailey punts it away. He's sure-handed. Douglas back there to haul it in. On a couple of days. Looking forward to the rest of Capital One Bowl week and to the rest of the first half here in San Antonio. Foles quickly out to Richard Morrison. Morrison with his
late on the throw that Martin intercepted for the pick 6. He's got to be more decisive.
Greg Nwoko on the carry for short yardage just across. Foles trying to dump it to Grigsby. He does. He's got a first down now close to midfield. A much
Single pass play for Nick Foles.
Grigsby. Nifty move. Still can't get away, and Markel Martin is going to get his second penalty of the night. A horse collar appears to be the...
But in the second half of the season, we did not see him able to run like that. He looks to me like he's pretty close to being back to full go.
Foles on first down, and Nwoko out of the backfield, and he is hit immediately. John Lewis.
One more time, Gator man.
Nwoko pounds it down to the... Foles trying to beat the play clock. The flag flies, and I see the signal for a false start.
False start. Number 57 on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards. Till third down.
Javon Hayes.
Stance. They're ready to get back and ready to pass block.
Foles needs 10. Pocket collapsing. Kleiner's got it underneath. And Duran will be tackled right at the 30 in the range of 40 to 49 yards. Zendejas hits it. And he hits it wide right. Defense with a little help from a miscue. And the offensive line of Arizona forced the missed field.
Absolutely, Reese. And that's what Mike Stoops told us yesterday, that he probably would go for it more on fourth down in areas like that.
Here goes Joseph Randle, another of the freshman running backs. We've seen Jeremy Smith score. Now Joseph Randle, an explosive player, has a good gain for the Cowboys, and they're on the move close to midfield.
This defense is going to lose Kendall Hunter after this football game at running back, but they feel really good about next year because of two young running backs. That guy we just saw, Joseph Randle, as well as Jeremy Smith, who scored the first touchdown.
And here is Smith again. Smith wrestling his way into Arizona territory. DeAndre Reed on the stop.
A little early to do the look ahead for next year, this Oklahoma State team, but there are a lot of players coming back. Yes,
Wait the decision from Justin Blackman. He is a redshirt sophomore and eligible to enter the draft. Smith had it in his hands. And
enjoy the game before you get in the pressure cooker.
Whedon gets rid of it, and it is knocked away beautifully by Joe Perkins. Has a fine play on the ball in the air. So just over a minute and a half to play in the first half. Oklahoma State will kick it away. David Douglas clearing everybody out of the way. And the ball will roll inside the 15.
And then go pull for the ponies and see how they do. On that one, he got away with a pass interference.
Firing out low and complete. That's one of the reasons I think you see Arizona's Foles and try to move the chains with his feet if he can get to the line. And he took a shot at the end, and the flag's going to fly as Justin Gent came in and tried to hit Foles before he got to the first down marker. And good to see Nick, who had a knee problem earlier this year, up and walking back to the huddle. They're protecting the quarterbacks along the sidelines, and the flags came immediately from a couple of officials.
Yeah, you know what? Not only is it late, I mean, it's going down low on those legs. I just got to be smart.
Well, and again, Craig, you mentioned it earlier, playing in control. Right. That's the third time tonight.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 42 on the defense. That penalty is 15 yards. First down.
You have to know if you're Justin Jennings that he's not getting any more yardage moving up forward. And it's a scary thing for Nick Foles. Because, Reese, you mentioned he'd missed 2.5 games earlier in the season with a dislocated kneecap.
Here's why Mike Gundy's upset, because when Gent left his feet to make the tackle, which would have been a legal tackle if he hadn't been headed out of bounds, Foles was still in bounds. And he stepped out, the foot came down, Gent was already rolling. That's why Mike's upset. It's a tough call, but the officials are working hard to try to protect defenseless players. Well, a 15-yard penalty would give Arizona the first down. It's the third personal foul against the Cowboys tonight. Foles scrambling, and this time he's just going to throw it away as he was being pressured. Sometimes I think it looks worse than it is at times, although certainly that was the tough play the previous one. Foles again getting some pressure. Nick fires low again. Kleiner seemed to pick it right off the seconds remaining in the first half. Only 3 rushing. Foles into the seam. He's got Douglas for the first down inside the Oklahoma State 40. And now the Wildcats have a chance to get points before halftime.
Yeah, here's more towards the middle. This was the ball that they did not complete, remember?
Foles gets it snapped quickly. Again into the middle. This Kreiner's the lone receiver at the top of your screen. Foles right through the hands of Rich sideline.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Foles looking for Travis Cobb. Some contact out there and a catch by Cobb, and a flag comes down. Now Cobb put his hands on the defensive back. He was working on Devin Hedgepath. Let's see which way the call is going to go here as Cobb stepped in and made the grab.
Regardless, that was an unbelievable
Good catch.
It's the second time somebody on Arizona has made a one-handed stab on a ball. I think Nick Foles just took...
Pass interference on the offense, number 6.
I think Mike Stoops has got something here on this because, you know, your receiver's going down the field. See who's get the hands on it. There's the first hand. Yeah, you know what? He did.
It's a good call.
Grabbed him. Good call.
It's a good call.
Yep, sure enough. Grabbed him in the back of the numbers and pulled on him so he could get the inside move with his body, and Cobb was able to get to the inside because he pulled the defensive back.
You can't blame him for trying, but it was the proper call. Starts again after the ball was spotted for a penalty, and now we got 10 seconds remaining in the half. They'll keep it on the ground with Grigsby. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. Got to use a timeout to get it stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Timeout so you can throw the ball down in the end zone.
I'm not sure they got a call.
They got to call timeout.
And there's a mistake on the Arizona sideline. I can't imagine they were content to just let the clock run out. Well, Stoops obviously displeased with the offensive pass interference call. Clearly that was the right call as we saw on replay. And so a frustrating first half for the Wildcats comes to an end. 23-7 Oklahoma State has the lead as we check in with Jen Brown.
Coach, what happened there on the sideline as the time ran out?
Well, we're trying to get a timeout 1 second and try to get something in the end zone, but they didn't give us the call. But too many mistakes against a good football team, too many turnovers, missed some scoring opportunities, but defense is fighting, and you know we got to take the opening kickoff and get some points here at the beginning of the second half.
Talk about defense. Justin Blackmon has almost 100 yards and 1 touchdown. How do you contain him in the second half?
Well, he's hard to single coverage, and they run the ball effectively. So we blew 1 coverage where we were trying to roll over the top of them, but it was a mental error in the secondary. But we just got to play fundamentals better. But overall, the defense has given us a chance. Turnovers have been a problem.
All right, thanks, Coach. Reese?
All right, Jen. Stoops, as it stands, they're down 23-7. Here is the result of that mental error that Stoops was talking about. Justin Blackmon going 71 yards. Now let's join Dari Noka, Mark May, and Lou Holtz for the H&R Block halftime report. Take it away, Dari.
All right, Reese, we'll see you in a little bit. I'm seeing Mike Stoops taking a headset off as time's running out, which didn't look like a timeout call, but that's just me.
It's kind of hard to call timeout when you're reaching up and taking your headset off and handing it to one of your assistant coaches.
23-7 Cowboys. Dari Noka, Lou Holtz, Mark May. Here they go, trying for their first ever 11-win season. They had 10 back in '88, had a pretty good threesome there. Mike Gundy, Barry Sanders, and a receiver named Hartley Dykes. They have one receiver, a little notch above Dykes even, I think.
And that's Justin Blackmon. He's been phenomenal all season long. Coming into the game, averaging 151 yards receiving per game and 18 touchdowns coming in. Had another terrific half. At 6'1", 205 pounds, not the biggest wide receiver, but he's able to create separation. You cannot cover him one-on-one. He runs great routes, has great hands, has long arms, and if you make a mistake in coverage against him, he will make you pay the ultimate price, and that's a touchdown right here, 6 points. And he has fun at the end of the touchdown reception. And if you're Arizona, you have to make sure that you double coverage or you roll coverage towards him. You don't let one defender one-on-one with a receiver like that, Coach. And if you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay. He just showed that. If you're the safety, you've got to make sure you know where that player is.
Yeah, if I'm coaching the secondary for Oklahoma State, I'm going to be a pretty good coach going against that guy every day. But here's the amazing thing. Oklahoma State has the interception they ran back for a touchdown, a pick six, and another interception. They played very well in pass defense. You say, how can that be? They're 115th out of 120th in the country on pass defense coming to the game. Here's the reason why. They aren't that bad. It's just Oklahoma State scores so many points that everybody got to play catch up, and you do it by throwing the football. So you get inflated statistics. I want to say one last thing.
Yep.
You look at the body language of Arizona, it's like they're going to lose. Oh, this went wrong. That mistake, I dropped this. You watch Oklahoma State, something goes wrong, they just keep going on. There's no doubt in their mind.
You say 115th in pass D?
Yes, they
50th in pass efficiency.
Yes.
Defense. I'll take that stat over pass defense any day.
I'll
in terms
take
of a little
first.
accuracy. Yeah.
Take first. I coach the second.
I know.
They run, come up, they pass, go back. That's all.
All right, how about Illinois and Baylor Texas Bowl? This was just before the Valero Alamo Bowl. Baylor's first